wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. When hungry, love will keep us alive. I love, there was something last week in our topic, Reason, Season, and Lifetime, that had to do with relationships, all special relationships taking the place of God. I don't know if that's true or not, but what I do know is that all love songs are about the love of God. All true love is about, all unconditional true love, when it's expressed, received, or given, is all about really the love of God. Because the word love and the word God are what? The same word, exactly. So as we move into our last week, we're moving into miracles. I just love, we do 1-minute miracles here every week after service. So miracles is, I think, a good conversation to have, because we tend to think that miracles are done by special people. So there's something about doing a miracle, like Jesus did miracles, right? Our avatars and special people do miracles. But really, Course in Miracles says something different. So the definition of a miracle in the dictionary is this: a surprising and welcome event that is not explicable by natural scientific laws and is therefore considered to be the work of a divine agency. A Return to Love says about miracles, miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. They reflect a shift in how we think, releasing the power of the mind to the processes of healing and correction. So this is a very powerful idea and a very powerful thing to think about, because it implies that miracles are always happening. The question is, are they happening to you? Because if they're not happening to you, the issue is not that there aren't any, or that miracles aren't possible, or that there isn't magic in the world. There is magic in the world. The world is magical. These spiritual laws and principles that we talk about every week are amazing and true. So the more you lean into them, the more you allow them to be true for you, the more effortless living a miraculous life becomes. Now, she says in her book, miracles themselves are not to be consciously directed. So it's not like you say, I'm going to create a miracle today, because we're not doing miracles. We're allowing them. Now, you can ask for one. Dear God, please, I need a miracle. Not that we're actually praying to someone outside of ourselves, but it is our way of addressing the divine reality that surrounds us and that is within us. She says they occur as involuntary effects of a loving personality, an invisible force that emanates from someone whose conscious intention is to give and receive. Love as we relinquish the fears that block the love within us, we become God's instruments, we become his miracle workers. So, so in asking for miracles, we are seeking a practical goal, the attainment of inner peace. Can you feel in this moment that inner peace is the only thing of any value? Because it's very elusive for most of us. We don't feel a lot of inner peace a lot of the time. So in asking for miracles, we're not so much asking for, it's great. What the image that just came to my mind was the pageant, the beauty pageants. Yes, what I want is I want world peace. Well, that's nice, right? Wanting world peace is really wonderful, and we should all want world peace because it's our world, and if the rest of the world's not peaceful, then we can't be peaceful either. But life is way more personal than that, is it not? What we really want is personal peace. We want inner peace. Now, inner peace is not accomplished by shifting or changing outer circumstances. We all think it is, you know, if that person will just do what you want, you will feel peaceful, right? If this wasn't happening, you would feel peaceful. But none of that is true. You know, week after week, I was talking to Patrick this morning, and really the talk is exactly the same every week. Really, what I say, what Reverend Shell says, what any speaker will say is exactly the same every week with different words, different little attention. But ultimately, it really comes down to we live in a miraculous universe of magic that is intended by the intelligence that governs this universe to provide us with a heaven-on-earth experience where we get to discover and express our greatness and to live in peace and love. That's it. And if it's not that way, then it's not that way for us. So we're working on ourselves, always working on ourselves. So the good news is that our holiness reverses all the natural laws of the world. So as long as we are living purely in our human identity, then we are living in the world of cause and effect, in the world of karma, in the world of matter. In the world, this Newtonian physics says that the world is real, that all of this out here is real, solid matter. Quantum physics says, no, not so much. Quantum physics says the world is affected by the person looking at it. And that just the very fact that you are watching something, observing something, bearing witness to something, perceiving something, alters the something you are watching and perceiving and paying attention to. It's a huge idea. So the observer, it's called the observer effect, and it simply says that there's nothing out here that your presence doesn't alter by your observing it. So when you are living life from a purely egoic or purely conditioned or purely human perspective, you are under the laws of the world, which is kind of scarcity, loss, fear, doubt, worry, otherness, separateness. And when you're living from your spiritual identity, you move beyond the restriction of time, space, distance, and limits, which is why miracles can happen. And by the way, miracles, in God there is no order of miracles. There's nothing too big or too small. But how many of you have experienced inexplicable good coming into your life at exactly the time you needed it, without your having to make it happen? Yes. And really, one of the core messages today about miracles is you have to let them happen. You have to make them welcomed. And this could be finding a place to live. This can be a relationship. This could be a new car. This could be peace of mind. So it's not limited to things, nor is it limited to states of being. A miracle is, what's the purpose of a miracle? The attainment of inner peace. So, because thought is a creative level of things, that is a core message too every week, is it not? Thought creates. Your thought creates. Your thought influences. Your thought molds. Your thought allows. And since thought is a creative level of things, then changing your mind is the ultimate tool of self-empowerment. Now, this is not, changing our minds is not easy, or we would have all done it already. Because we believe that our minds, that what we think and what we know to be true is true. And another way of saying that is we think we're right. And as long as you think you're right, or as long as you think what you think, whatever it is you're thinking is going to show up for you as evidence of your rightness. It's a vicious circle. Can you see that? So the challenge then is we have to break out. You can't move the pieces around within that circle and hope for different results. You actually have to step outside the circle. You have to think a new thought. And part of it simply just begins with being willing to not be right. Have you ever talked to somebody who they're wanting a miracle in their lives, whatever it is, and you will offer solutions or ideas? Why don't you try this? No, I tried that already. Oh, okay. How about if you, let's try this. No, my friend tried it and it didn't work for them. That's not going to work for me. Can you see the resistance to the miracle? And it's not because people are stupid or because they're resistant by nature. It's because we've been trained to think that the outer world is fixed and solid and that miracles aren't possible for us. And so it's not so much that we resist them, we just don't know how to let them be. So today we can actually begin to look at how can we become more miracle-minded. Now, this is not all fun and games, because what happens, I'm going to tell you what happens. I'm just going to lay it out. This is the truth. When you say to the universe, "Dear God, I want to be a more patient person. I am so impatient and it's causing me a lot of lack of peace. I want to be more patient." Do you know what happens? The universe is going to send you everyone and everything so that you can learn. Everything, unlike patience in you, will have to be burned off. This is true for anything. I want to be more abundant. I want to be more loving, right? I want to, whatever miracle is you're looking for, whatever growth it is you're looking for, you're going to have to get ready, kind of brace yourself, Bridget, for this moment where people and circumstances are going to come in an effort to help you do that. This kind of makes you want to throw up, doesn't it? It would just be so much easier if the world could change. It would be so much easier if God would just smite them. I mean, why do you have to change? It's just not fair. So Marion says in this book, everyone has love in their hearts, so why does the world reveal so much hatred? And her answer is this. She said, because people are more committed to fear than they are to love. So perhaps this whole conversation about miracles has something to do with commitment, our commitment in doing and going through whatever we need to do and go through. She also says in this chapter, it's absolutely fruitless to say to God, please manage the situation, but don't ask me to change my mind. So again, we're left with being responsible, not only for ourselves, but for the whole world. Sadhguru, who's a wonderful Indian guru, you can see on YouTube quite a bit these days, big guy with lots of hair. Why did I bring him up? I don't know. I just don't know. So we'll move on. So God heard our prayers, and God has sent help. God, she sent you. It's a wonderful idea, isn't it? That God, we pray, and then we say, why isn't God answering my prayers? Why isn't it working? Because we're looking for something out there to change, rather than looking for us to change something out there. She says, we are here on a mission to save the world through the power of love. The world needs healing desperately, like a bird with a broken wing. Everyone knows this, and we have prayed. And God heard our prayers and answered our prayers. God sent you. So the question is, are you a miracle worker? So to become a miracle worker means to take part in a spiritual underground that's revitalizing the world. Participating in a revolution of the world's values at the deepest possible level. This means creating a revolution in yourself to change at the deepest level within you. Now, I know some of you, and I know most all of you, but I know some of you operate at a very deep level already, that you are already love masters, that you are already miracle workers. And I know some of you are kind of new to these ideas, and so there's probably like, what does this mean to be, am I a miracle worker? And it could be said, to make it simple, am I a person who is spreading love, positivity, optimism, positive expectation, upliftment, peace, and enlightenment everywhere I am? Or am I just a cranky person in my car flipping off the person next door to me? Or angry at my neighbors, or unforgiving towards my family, or whatever it is? Are you that person? Michael Beckwith, in his book Spiritual Liberation, which we'll cover later in this year, says, architects of the beloved community, also known as miracle workers, are spiritual revolutionaries who realize that the solution to global changes is a spiritual one. Bless you. You're welcome. We didn't need to do all that, but is a spiritual one that conquest through war is at best temporary. Conquest by love is permanent. He goes on to say that love is not an emotion. You know, we tend to think of love as, I love you. Actually, what did Dr. April say yesterday? She said there are 4 expressions of love in operas. I love you, you don't love me. You love me, but I don't love you. The third is I love you, and the fourth is I hate you. But we're not talking about that kind of love. We're talking about something that will, as the reading was today, that will renew your body, renew your finances, renew your relationships, renew everything there is to be renewed about you. Life begins new when you shift from a Newtonian perspective to a quantum physics perspective. When you understand that who you are is so powerful, so influential, and that your happiness, your peace, your success, your music, your creativity is all within your power. You just have to let it be that way. Now, in A Return to Love, Marianne says, now, you don't want to announce this too loudly to the world around you. She said, you don't, she said, a member of the French underground did not walk up to a German officer and say, hello, my name is Jacques, I'm with the French Revolution. Or I'm with the French Resistance. Because it would have been really stupid to do that, right? Because he would have been killed. That the work is done quietly. The work is done silently. The work is done in the background. So you don't want to go up to somebody and say, hi, I'm a miracle worker for God. And I just realized that, so I'm here to heal you. You do not say that because they're going to think you're crazy and they're going to lock you up. But you can say it to yourself. You can say it to yourself. And what might that look like? You know, we have to be practical about this. When you walk into a room and there's conflict in the room, or somebody's crying, or somebody's yelling at somebody, does that ever happen? Yeah, it does, right? So, and we feel our way into the room, and you can tell that there's anger going on, or there's a fight going on, or somebody's suffering. When we're not doing our miracle work, we're going to react to that in a certain way. You might join in the fight, like, I'm going to be on their side. No, I'll be on their side. Or you might be conflict avoidant, so therefore you're going to walk out of the room and not do anything at all. Or whatever you might do. I think a true miracle worker, because you're not walking up to people saying, I'm a miracle worker, you're not the Jacques, the French resistance, telling the German officer that what you're doing, that your counsel is kept within you. You keep counsel with yourself. There isn't any way to engage with people, except perhaps in a spiritual community where you're all about the same thing. You know, we have some commitment. We're committed to being a beneficial presence wherever we are, as kind of a shared commitment that we're striving towards. So maybe here we can talk about such things and be reminded about such things. But when you're out in the world, you just want to show up, check in, center yourself spiritually, and see if your presence of love and peace can bring love and peace to whatever's going on in that room, to whatever's going on in the hearts of the people in that room. My teacher used to say, well, two things coming to mind. My teacher used to say, when we would do hospital visits, so somebody would be in the hospital having had surgery or been in an accident or whatever it is, and he said, when you walk into a hospital room, if you see a sick person, you cannot help them. If you see a sick person, you can't help them. So what he meant by that was our job as miracle workers is to see a whole, perfect, complete person. See beyond the appearance of disease, see beyond the appearance of lack and limitation, see beyond the appearance of war and anger, and to hold steady to the idea that miracles are possible, that love is the miracle, and you, as the embodiment of love, are the miracle when you're in a situation where the people in that situation don't know that. But you can know that. And because of the observer effect, wherever you are on an invisible, unseen side of life, what you observe is changed. And further, what you are observing with changes how you are observing. So when you're looking at a conflict, when you are looking at a conflict, can you not look and see conflict? Because if you walk into a room of arguing people and you see people arguing, you can't help them. Doesn't sound easy though, does it? Oh, y'all got very quiet. I wish I could remember why I brought up Sadhguru. I'm sure it was really, really, really important. Anyway, so I'm old, what can I say? I know, I could hear the signs of mind people out there. You're not old, you're only as old as you think you are. I'm old. Just ask any doctor, he'll tell you, right? Geriatric medicine. I remember my first doctor, I was 63, I think, and the doctor said, oh, welcome to geriatric medicine. I remember looking at him going, do I look like I belong in geriatric medicine? He said, you don't. That's good. I said, good, let's hold that off then. Just for a little while. So the invitation, so, you know, this year we're doing Sowing Seeds of Greatness. And this is sowing seeds of our own greatness, sowing seeds of our authentic spiritually grounded, best self ever, where you are peaceful most of the time, where you are joyful most of the time, happy most of the time, useful most of the time, loving most of the time, and that miracles occur naturally when you are in that space. And what that means is the universe knows what you need before you need it. In the Bible, it says God knows your heart. So if you need a quarter, the universe already knows you need one. You just have to look down and see it laying on the street waiting for you. Or if you are in need of friendship, friendship will be provided. People will approach you. Someone will call. So we have to be in anticipation of good, which is not where most of us live. Most of us live in anticipation of our needs not being met. And it shows up for us in many ways. People say people don't change, or the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, or sure, that happened, but just wait until tomorrow. So we have kind of an inbred resistance to miraculous living. So the invitation really is, can we lift that? Can we shift it so that you just walk in life? Get out of bed every morning, do what is yours appointed thing to do that day, whatever it is, without one thought. The lilies of the field toil not. It's speaking to the ease and grace with which the natural world lives. They don't worry about tomorrow. They don't worry about where their food's coming from. They don't worry about if they're looking pretty or not. The lilies of the field simply blow in the wind. That's how we can live day by day, knowing that if you need a house will come. If you need a car will come. If you need money, money will come. It's called being miracle-minded. Sounds great, doesn't it? All right, well, let's do an affirmation to anchor this, because, Marianne Williamson said part of the issue with the world is we're more committed to fear than to love. So if that's true, well, another lesson I learned in my own path is this: if you don't know what you're committed to, just look. If you don't know what you're committed to, just look and see what you have. And whatever you have is what you're committed to. That one will make you throw up a little bit too. Right? Because we don't want to do that, especially if what you have isn't what you want. You don't want to say, I'm not responsible for that. Why would I ever not? Is this not true with the whole world, though? Nobody wants war. Nobody wants hungry people. Nobody wants dying children. But still we have it. Why? Why? It's because I think we just, there's something, we're being called to grow up, we're being called to step up, we're being called to spirit up, we're being called to change our minds about who we are, which will allow us to change our minds about who other people are as well, because we are one. All the good, bad, and the ugly. I'd like to say God's everywhere or nowhere. It can't be both. It can't be God's only in you and not in you. Everywhere or nowhere. I choose everywhere. Do you choose everywhere? Yes. All right, so here's our affirmation. I'm going to read it first, and then you'll read it very loudly and with enthusiasm. So me first. Today, I exchanged my ego mind for a miracle mind. I acknowledge miracles as a divine reality and accept that miracles are possible. I take a stand for my world by cultivating inner peace, calm, and clarity, and by spreading that vibration everywhere that I am. Now you. And so we let it be, And so it is. Thank you. So ends our lesson. All right, but let's pray. We do have a potluck after service, so you'll see a little movement in the sanctuary as food gets prepared. But for now, for those of us, we just turn within for a moment. If closing your outer eyes is comfortable, do so now. And simply allow your gaze, your inner gaze, to land into that space within you that is the attractor of miracles. It is the link you have with the universe, reaching out to all people, all substance, all matter, all ideas. And this is possible because there is only one presence and one power, one life, one peace, and that is the life of God, the life of spirit, the life of universal intelligence, that ineffable something out of which you and I and everything else got created. And there is no place where it is not. There's no, God cannot break itself into pieces, so therefore the fullness of the divine is everywhere. So though we may not feel divine, we are divine. Though we may not feel miracles, we are miraculous. And so cultivating and using these spiritual laws and principles, I speak this word for and about you and for about anyone within the sound of my voice, acknowledging that which already is. You are a miracle worker. You are imbued with enough love for the entire world. You are a magnet for attracting everything you need to be a miracle worker. I like to say that whatever you are seeking, it is seeking you with equal fervor. So all that is necessary is to let it in, to make it welcomed. And so I join with you in releasing anything that would block, hinder, or obstruct any old idea about yourself, any old idea about your family, any old idea about the world, anything that you're holding to be true that is manifesting in the world as something you don't like. Stop manifesting it and start manifesting what you do like and what you do want and what the world needs. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful that changing our minds is possible, and that in the changing of our minds, the changing of the world and our lives is possible. I am so grateful for that. And I simply just release this word that I've spoken into this manifesting power that we call the law of mind, knowing that even now, the demonstration and the manifestation is taking form, and we don't have to worry about it for 1 minute. We simply go about our business expecting and accepting the miracle. And so with great joy, comfort, and peace in knowing this, we simply just let it be together by anchoring